everyone, Dan here from the Next Issue podcast. On today's video, I'm working on my Venom 3 review, and it had me thinking back about my theatrical experience. So what I wanted to do instead was talk a little bit about cinema and going to the theater. I love going to the movies. It's one of my favorite things. I one of the things that it was like since I go to the movies almost every weekend. When COVID originally hit, uh, I was devastated, like not being able to go to the movies. Obviously, it's a very small thing, but it was something that I just used to do, right? Whether I go out with friends or by myself. Um, but man, oh man, has the movie going culture changed so much in the past few years? And an experience from my Venom screening really kind of brought that back up to the surface. Now, I do want to give a quick shout out to the guys over at They Made Another One podcast because they were talking about Terrifier 3 and they brought up their own theatrical experiences in which I believe Mitch was in a theater where people were just looking at their phones and just being distracted. It was not an ideal theatrical experience. And that kind of brought up to I started laughing when I was at the theater because in the last sequence of the movie, I would say the big sequence had just finished, right? So we just have the little bit of wrap up. Um, the as as something really big happened and everything kind of quiet back down. If you've seen Venom, you probably know what I'm talking about. I'll call it the Eureka moment. I started hearing snoring and I was like, is that coming from the screen? Like, is that part of? That's a weird choice to make this character snore at a time like this. So I was looking around. Now the theater was pretty half empty, half full. I would say because it was a Thursday night screening. Uh, and but then again, I kept hearing the snoring and it was pretty loud. So it was so loud that it really made me think of like the surround sound. Now, normally I sit pretty close to the front. Like usually at AMC, they'll have a few rows, and then a row with more accessibility for wheelchairs or anything that you may need, and then the rest of the rows. So I was sitting in the front row, right before the gap between seats, and I just heard it. And look, I understand it's a cozy theater. It gets a little cool. It's dark, but I don't understand how you can fall asleep in such a loud place. But man, this person was snoring at like a 10. Like it was roaring throughout the theater. Um, normally when somebody snores that loudly, like they kind of wake themselves up. That did not happen in this instance. We had about 5 minutes or so of like pretty loud snoring. It was hard to pinpoint because I was gonna stand up and like somebody did yell like, "Hey, wake up!" Stuff like that. Somebody I think went outside to get maybe one of the ushers to maybe help us out. I think by the time they came back, it had stopped. I didn't see the person that fell asleep in the theater, but all that stuff to say, it just got me thinking. Like, first of all, if you have a weird or bad or something that's kind of funny, I don't want hopefully I'm not asking for a tragedy or something, but if you have a bad theatrical experience because of somebody like that or something that happened, leave it down in the comments. Maybe I'll do a follow-up video of some of the funniest ones or some of the worst ones, whatever the case may be. But man, that was like that hadn't happened to me in a while. Now for the most part, I split my movie watching between Alamo Draft House and the local AMC theater, depending on what the movie is, the time. I'm an A-list member, so like I definitely want to try to at least go to the movies at AMC once a week. Definitely at least 3 times a month to kind of take advantage of the $21 that I'm paying for it. When it comes to Alamo, I usually go to the Alamo whenever I'm trying to. First of all, if I'm trying to catch a meal with the movie, it's definitely Alamo, because they have pretty good food. I love a Royale with cheese. I love their pizza. But also, sometimes they have more specialty movies, or depending on the runtime, or depending on the timing of the movie and timing of the day. But that got me thinking. I don't think I had a really disturbing or bad theatrical experience in a while, just because of that. I'm very picky about when I go watch movies. If it's like a big release in a weekend, like I'll usually try to go to Alamo because I know they have a little bit more strict policies. They're a lot more careful. And also, I feel like the type of moviegoer that goes to Alamo, because they have so many rules and they're more strict, they have what I'll call better theater etiquette. At the AMC, because it's a big chain, and I don't expect the people at the theater to be policing everything. Like, if you're going to the theater, you're kind of entering into a social contract with other people that we're all here to watch this movie. And I understand that things happen, but like if you have to answer your phone, just step outside in the little hallway or whatever, right? Don't be playing on your phone. And it gets difficult because we've been kind of conditioned that our phones are kind of like are always there to do whatever we need, right? One of the reasons I sit so further up the front is so that I won't see people that are on their phones. And even then, like I make videos all the time, but I still don't do those like video reactions in the movie theater because I don't want to have a phone out or a camera out. I don't record the end credit scenes of a movie, even if I want to do a little breakdown. Like I've done it for some of the big things, but just from it's really I don't want to hinder anyone's experience at the theater. And for the most part, like if somebody's being disruptive, I mean, at the Alamo it's pretty easy. You just raise an order card and somebody will come talk to them. At these other big chains, it's a little bit more difficult to police that because, first of all, it's dark. You don't know where like the disturbance could be coming from almost anywhere at any point. Now, I'm not very confrontational, so it's not like I'm gonna go up to anybody and like call them out immediately. Like I give people the benefit of the doubt. But like I'll turn around and take a look. Like usually that kind of does it when somebody notices that, oh, I am being disruptive. For the most part, I would say 80% of the time, once people realize they are being disruptive, they stop being disruptive. Because like I said, I think a lot of us go to the theater with that in mind. So yeah, I mean, like I said, I keep thinking back. There's really not a lot of really like probably the phone is the biggest thing. There's a lot of people that have the little flash go off when their phone rings or gets a text message or whatever. Um, so like that's probably one thing that I'll see sometimes at the theater that they'll forget to put it on silent or theater mode or whatever. And it's really easy. Like I have my Apple Watch has a theater mode. Like I always click that. So even though I'm getting notifications or anything, nothing lights up, right? So you can still be in touch. It's not like you're incommunicado from the world. So, but yeah, I just thought it was interesting. I thought it was something that was weird and but luckily, like I said, I don't remember having any really bad experiences at the theater. I have fallen asleep at the theater myself, maybe a handful of times. And I think I can snore pretty loudly, but luckily those times have been where I'm with other people that they'll nudge me back awake very quickly. So I want to hear in the comments. Let me know maybe some of your biggest stories of like people just not abiding by a theater etiquette, or whatever the case may be. What do you do in those situations? What's a good thing? And then also, what theaters do you prefer to go for? What kind of movies? What are some of your movie habits? I think this is a fun conversation. Maybe I'll bring it up to the guys at the live show. Eventually, maybe we'll talk about that. It's kind of hard because we don't go to the theater as much as a group, right? Like even with my friends, it's a lot of solo movies just because I watch a lot of movies for the channel, and that means I'm at the theater sometimes at weird times or whenever I can make some time during the week. So yeah, either way, I hope you enjoyed this video. We should have a Venom 3 review out at some point around this video as well, the release of it. We have more stuff coming up. I have a blog for my uh, a Dallas Fan Festival, as long with along with a few interviews and some panel highlights and stuff like that. And of course, our comic reviews and movie reviews that we always do. So, but yeah, let me know your pet peeves at the theater, or even other places like amusement parks, museums. I don't know, what do people do. Like, I would need to go to a museum and do something. I think it's been a little while. So, as always, thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Saturdays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Stay tuned. We have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff here in the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye bye.